Well, hey guys, welcome back, and it is officially Jover. It is over for Joe Biden. He has officially stepped down as the nominee for the Democratic Party, and unfortunately, he is still the president, I think, currently. I'm not sure. You'll have to let me know. Nobody's quite sure right now what exactly is going on, if he's actually the president, if we have any idea, who's in charge of this country, who's calling the shots, who's answering the phone late at night. Maybe it's Kamala, maybe it's Jill Biden, maybe it's some intern. I have no clue who's actually in charge of our once great nation. That being said, before we get into the video, make sure you check out the website. We have got lots of articles and fun stuff on here, minimaleffort.shop, merch, news, videos, links to all the other video hosting sites, as well as where I do my live streams as well. So check it out. We even have links to support us directly on here as well. So Joe Biden released this statement earlier today, to nobody's surprise, I want to say. He says, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we've made great progress as a nation." I should put on the Joe Biden voice simulator, but I'm just going to read this in my normal voice. "Today, America has the strongest economy in the world." Yeah, right. "We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court." But he couldn't name Mayorkas. He had no idea who his Secretary of Defense, I believe he is. He just referred to him as the black man or something. I'm like, this dude has been out to lunch way too long. "And passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve you as your president, and while it's been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." The man can't even stay awake. Who's actually fulfilling his duties? Really, come on, guys. "I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. Let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. 81 million of them, right, Joe? I believe today what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we're the United States of America." Now, we are in unprecedented times. This has never happened in my lifetime so far. And we just had a presidential nominee almost assassinated last week. It's been 8 days since then. It's absolutely crazy the amount of time that has not passed in between these events. Things are rapidly escalating to where now we actually have Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, his vice presidential nominee for this election cycle, saying that essentially they need to call for an investigation into Joe Biden's doctors. And I don't necessarily disagree. This is on an interview with Jesse Waters. Just give this a listen.
"You'd investigate the people that hid Joe Biden's condition?"
Well, I think somebody has to look at it. Look, you had people that lied to the American public. And I tell you what, you ought to take a look at his doctors, because his doctors keep giving him this wonderful report.
Look, I know that Trump can be a blowhard. I know he turns a lot of people off with his rhetoric, but he's not wrong here, guys. He is absolutely not wrong. Joe Biden has been like this for a long time, and his doctors keep giving him a clean bill of health.
Not a doctor, but I saw him the other day, was unable to get up the children's stairs going into Air Force One.
Is it a coup against Joe Biden?
Sort of, yeah.
I think it is. I mean, look, there's a constitutional process, the 25th Amendment. If Joe Biden can't run for president, he can't serve as president. And if they want to take him down because he's mentally incapable of serving, invoke the 25th Amendment. You don't get to sort of do this in the most politically beneficial way for Democrats. If it's an actual problem, they should take care of it in the appropriate way.
And I think that that's a very important distinction, because I know that a lot of people will go, "Oh, you just want to remove him because you want to make, well, actually, that wouldn't even serve." I was going to say that they want to make Kamala president, but she's essentially the nominee now. I mean, Joe Biden came out and endorsed her. The Clintons endorsed her. So it wouldn't be any strategy for the Trump campaign to say, make Joe Biden step down and put Kamala in there, where she's going to have to run. She's going to have to lead as president if she's running as the presidential nominee now, if Joe Biden's stepping down. Who she's going to pick for VP, God only knows at this point. But it doesn't serve the Trump campaign any benefit to have Biden step down at this point, because they've been campaigning against him this entire time. Now this is like a curveball for everybody involved. And again, if Joe Biden's not capable of running, like they said, he's not capable of leading the country right now, which we all know he's not actually doing. This guy here goes a little more of that tinfoil conspiracy theory, and I think there might be some validity to some of this. G Fodor, I don't know how to pronounce that, on Twitter, says, I'm going to sound like Alex Jones, but I legit think they ran a coup on Joe. Here's what I suspect we will find out to some degree or another, probably never fully confirmed. I understand the coup they ran on Trump with the FISA warrant, so I'm cynical enough to imagine they would do this. They threw everything at Biden to get him to drop out. They tried to destroy his character, then Hunter and Jill put up a wall. The remaining avenue was to bribe them. I'm guessing they offered them pretty much anything. But the issue to me fundamentally is you can't offer something to the First Lady better than another term. And again, that's the thing. A lot of people have pointed out, Jill has been obsessed with staying in because she loves the limelight. She loves the attention. It says, and you can't offer something to a father better than pardon power if he has a son whose past crimes are not fully understood and who may be entangled with things that lead to future crimes. So where you end up is you have to reach deeper into the toolbox. The way I think this goes is you realize that the way to finally get capitulation is to have the public believe for a news cycle that Biden has dropped out of his own accord but hasn't. In this scenario, it can't be walked back. So to run this play, you really need just two things. You need a way to distribute an ostensible resignation from a credible source, and you need the candidate to be maximally incapacitated to respond. So you flip the right comms people who can post to X and other social media. Then you send people into the White House with COVID. This is where crimes may have occurred, but is basically a perfect crime. And I'm not sure necessarily... Again, they claimed that Joe Biden had COVID. I don't know that he did or didn't, to be honest. Then once the candidate tests positive, you do a dry run to see if your flipped comms people end up getting blowback for posting something the candidate would never allow, such as I'm sick. You also now, and that was a weird thing, Joe Biden tweeted I'm sick, and it wasn't Joe Biden. And then in the follow-up, it was I'm sick of these blah, 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 blah people. You also now leak fake stories to the press that the candidate is imminently going to drop out. You line up party leadership to agree if Biden resigns, they will line up the way you want. If things look good, you wait until the day the candidate is maximally ill during the course of the Rona and blast out a resignation. As long as you have a solid cycle where the candidate can't even physically react and his family knows that the game theory is now against them. The public and even the party leadership is now set up entirely to accept the resignation, and many people who flipped have insane counter-incentives to accept any claims by the candidate it was not intended. And the candidate, of course, wakes up a day later and realizes if they dispute the resignation, they lose everything. Instead, they now take the deal with the entire world already aligned on the new reality. I think that is a very, very valid belief. But of course, Jonas J. Campbell from That Park Place asking, in all seriousness, where has the leader of the free world been today? He doesn't even run that X account, so I'd very much like to see a press conference or an interview or something. Joe, I will never vote for you, but wellness check, please. And of course, I linked him to this story right here from the Daily Mail, and there's a lot of people covering this, that Frank Biden, Joe Biden's brother, makes shocking statement about his brother's decision to drop out of the race that sparks fury from Joe's family. Now, I'll try to keep this brief because we've already kind of ran long on this one. It says, President Joe Biden's youngest brother said Sunday that he believed the 81-year-old was bowing out of the race due to health concerns. He made comments to both CBS and ABC News, telling CBS, in my humble opinion, absolutely the president's health was part of Biden's decision to announce that he wouldn't run for re-election, endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris in the process. Selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time he has left. So it says a Biden family source poured very hot water on Frank's claims. Frank Biden suffers from alcoholism and hasn't spoken to his brother in weeks. What he said is completely untrue. So now they're throwing the brother under the bus. Wow. Absolutely insane that they are going to do this. So his own brother claims, nah, man, this guy, he's not doing well. He needs to just go enjoy the last few, whatever, days, weeks, years he has left. And yet his own family's going to say, oh, he's just a crazy drunk. Don't believe this guy. Absolutely nuts. But whatever happens, whatever comes of it, just remember that essentially once Joe Biden steps down, and he will step down, he will not make it to November. Let's be honest about that. This man's probably not going to make it another week at this point. This is who's taking over.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
I have no hope at this point. I think we're all screwed, but let me know what you guys think down below. Is this the worst case scenario? Does this actually help Trump? Does it help Kamala? Does it help any of us at all? Share your thoughts down below. Make sure you check out minimaleffort.shop, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have two channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.